l'AFP. On a entendu plusieurs de vos joueurs.
Better speaker, AFP, we've heard many of your players naming they want a revenge through the lost games back in November.
Ou est-ce que vous laissez ça aux joueurs? Et est-ce que
Is it a feeling that you have, or is it just for the players? And do you think that it may reach your goals? Good evening. On my hand, it's a bit different. I'm not looking for revenge. What do I want a revenge for? On the match that we lost during the Champions League? No. We are motivated. Those are the quarterfinals of a World Cup. And this is enough. This game is one that we should fully be dedicated to, but no revenge. José Barroso, l'équipe. A couple of weeks ago, you've mentioned a game in Munich, and we were surprised. You have mentioned that this loss in Munich, unable to notice a couple of shifts in your team. Could you bring some light to that? At the time you were surprised in a good way? Is it the first important game for you? We've mentioned Man City, but do you think that maybe this match is the beginning of a change for your team? I've not understood the beginning of your question. Would you mind repeating?
A
couple of weeks back, you said that the game in November in Munich was a shift for your team. Did I say that? Unfortunately, I do not remember. I do say a lot, and I speak a lot with you. It is really easy to say that. There may have been a shift there, but I believe that throughout the season, we have noted the team getting better. At the beginning of the season, we noted a lack of efficiency, mainly during the Champions League. We have noted this shift for the better. I don't really know when the shift happened, but I am really happy and ecstatic with the season, as well as the performance that were delivered by the team throughout the season. Hello, Andreas Entraîné, Parisien. Ousmane Dembélé said he was ready to be part of the starting list. Do you share his opinion? Do you think that he could start the game tomorrow? Going back to Ousmane, he played with us for the entire week. He trained with us, with the entire group. Training gave me many informations and details. I'm really happy that Ousmane is part of the team. I won't give you important details to convey to the opponent, so we'll see tomorrow. Hello, Arthur Perrault, RMC.
Encore une fois, sur cette semaine a été assez longue.
This week was a long one since you've last played. Was it needed to motivate the players until the next game, or do you believe they're fully dedicated and motivated to start this match? To be completely honest, I must say that it has been a long week. There were 6 days in between those two matches, which is a long period for us, especially at the end of a season. We practiced for the entire week. We delivered. And I truly believe the team is ready to compete tomorrow. It will be a tough game against Bayern Munich, one of the best teams taking part in this competition, one of the best European team, but I believe we're going to go for a good game.
Question in Spanish. I have two questions. One, the fact that you are playing with three center forwards who were really good dribblers and they link up play very well. And how does this benefit your team? Why did you go for this option? Second question about the long balls that you use at the beginning of a game. For example, feels strange. I know you do it for a reason, so that you can get the ball back as soon as possible, or to send a message to the opponent. But would you do the same against an opponent who builds up from the back well? Yes, I would. Your reflection would be interesting if this was a coach's training. It would be interesting. Actually, this is something that we copied from Olympique de Lyon. So what is the reason? I'm not going to tell you. As clearly, we're going to change that tomorrow. I don't know. Oh, well, I don't know when. Maybe it's tomorrow. We're going to change that as people, as teams, scout, and they know things. There is no magic bullet in football. When you create something, the teams adapt. When you create numerical superiority, people and team adapt. It's not just creating a play and then it works forever. No, that's the difficulty of current football. Everyone is prepared, and players are more prepared than ever. And if you don't improvise and you stop being predictable, you are dead. That is the beauty of football, of being a coach. It's not sufficient what you've done in the past season. You need to look forward and you need to change things, improve things. Yes, I like these long balls at the beginning, but the teams start to find a solution. This is just a simple play. It doesn't represent anything within 90 minutes, but it comes with a reflection. If I was with my fellow coaches here, I would elaborate, but as I am with journalists, I'm not going to elaborate. I want you to learn from me. And regarding your second question, well, this is the work from Luis Campos, the sport director, and we like our forwards to be able to score goals, to assist, but also to dribble on the one-on-ones. There are very few teams who play with pure wingers, as there's very few in the world. We have Due, Barcola, Quara, Mbaye, Ousmane Dembélé, five players who could play on the flanks, or also they could cut inside. So that brings about many possibilities for the team. As for options when it comes to options to play, and at the end of the day, we look for the ball. That's part of our philosophy. But if we can dribble on a one-on-one and then create superiority, that is the fastest way to get to the goal. So in that sense, I am lucky to have these players.
Luis, ¿qué tal? Acá, Morena Beltrán para ESPN Argentina.
Question in Spanish for the Argentinian media. Sorry if I repeat the question, as I don't understand French. I know tomorrow you have a decisive match, but I think we are all saddened by this news, that is the passing of Diogo. Were you able to talk to some of his teammates in the Portuguese national team, and how do you tackle this match in this context? Well, I think it was the worst news that you can receive in the world of football. I cannot even imagine how saddened the family is. We must show our support, so to say. That is the only thing that we could maybe say. Is such tragic news that there is no relief. But time will heal those losses, and we are shocked, devastated, especially for those Portuguese players who played with him. And well, that's life for you. You need to accept it, and it's really hard. Question in Spanish. Now, regarding the forwards that you just mentioned, in an interview from Dembélé for the club, he spoke about the freedom that you give him on the pitch. Do you have several players who come from a different age? They like to dribble, they are skillful, and the question is whether the right word is freedom. Well, you can choose the word that you prefer. The players know our demands. When we have a team like the one we have, where everyone works for the team, the responsibility that you bear is higher than the individual responsibility. It's not just you playing well and doing well. What you do must benefit the team, and this comes with work and responsibilities. If you want to call it freedom, freedom is fighting for your team, for your teammate, for your club. Well, playing football, that's what we're looking for. And I believe that this group of players has taken to a very high level the notion of playing football very well, offering a good show. It's not just about going for a victory in an attractive way, but also with beautiful football for our fans or for any football fan. And I think that is something that is commendable. We can lose, we can win, but we will try to play well and using quality players for that. And I think that is out of the question.
Profe, por aquí, José Prosopio, Latin Goles Atlanta.
Question in Spanish.
¿Cuál es la clave para superar al
What is the key to beat tomorrow's opponent? Is this Bayern Munich the toughest opponent you've seen so far in this competition? Thank you. Well, tomorrow we will see that we know very well Bayern Munich as we've played against them. We know the profile of team that they are. We know his coach. We know their individual players. They are very similar to us when it comes to feeling comfortable with the ball and what they do when they don't have the ball. Tomorrow will be an open game with back and forth attacks. I don't think you will see the usual control you see in our games, so that will open up the game and even maybe more fun for the fans. And for us, it's still a test. A very attractive test, I must say. We want to qualify for the next round if we can beat them, and that is something very motivating for us, and that can be a clear objective for us, but also we are aware of their level. I think this moment we are in a very good momentum for a few months now, and we want to build on that momentum. Question in Spanish. Well, my colleague asked you something which I would like to elaborate on. Today, I was reflecting upon your team. My question is, beyond the freedom, I want to ask you about the importance of enjoying. We've spoken about how you managed to convince your players to press, to work, to be well-structured, to be disciplined. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's because they are enjoying. How important is that when it comes to achieving what you've achieved? Well, it's very simple, very basic, and at the same time, it's very difficult. I believe that is the key to everything we suggest. I think it's the key for me as a coach. The idea I try to transmit is a beautiful one. When I introduce myself in every club I go to or in the national team, my goal is to offer our fans a good show. You go to the cinema or to the theater not to have a bad time. They just don't want to see not just a victory, they want to see a good show. And this applies to football, to basketball, and this can go hand in hand with performance and a good show. And this is closely related to the demand that we place on our players and the idea we have for football. So we start each practice in the same way with the ball, and we play our passing game, our rondos, so that we start our daily work, and that is how we practice 90% or close to 100% with the ball. And we need to defend. We try to do it in a way that is also as attractive as possible for the players. But I believe this is something that each coach needs to approach based on their experience, their likings. And I come from a school of football that is that of Barcelona. And as a player, everything was about the ball, and on that basis, I feel very comfortable with what I try to transmit. All my players, all my teams for the last decade have tried to play in the same way. We've achieved that more or less, but there were clear objectives, and that was the clear objective. Winning by playing well. I am convinced that if you play well, you have more possibilities to win.
Bonsoir coach, Dorian Bonzon pour Made in Foot. On dit beaucoup que votre équipe s'est améliorée.
Hello, Made in Foot. We've said that your team improved since the last game against Bayern. Do you believe that this team has also progressed until the last game?
Dans l'équipe du Bayern.
Our team? No, in the Bayern team. Well, this is a question you may ask to the other team and their coach. I'm sorry, my apologies.
Buenas tardes, profesor Luis Enrique. Silvio Valencia de Perú, Vescable. ¿Qué opinión tiene?
Question in Spanish. What is your opinion from Vincent Kompany? How do you see him as a coach and German football in general? Bayern are the champions. What are their main assets? Where do they struggle? This is from Peru, this question. Well, in terms of the team, I think we've answered this in a sense. They are a team that's very similar to ours. They like possession. They'll seek to have the ball, and when they do have it, they can play in both ways. They can go very deep with their quick players, and if you don't press them, they have a capacity to just keep the ball. And when they don't have the ball, they press you. Their patterns are similar to ours. They are a very, very high-level club, and their coach is a very well-known coach. Okay, this is his second season in Munich, I believe. I think he's done very well. His team is following what he's presenting, and he's a very, very high-level coach, obviously.
Arnaud Herman, l'équipe. When you arrived to the stadium earlier on, you touched the grass. Are you happy with the quality of the grass? Well, it's worse than the previous game. Worse. Worse than the grass for the Miami game. This was the last game we played, and therefore the grass tomorrow will be worse. I hope they can improve it by tomorrow. We'll see.
Isabela Pagliari para a Casa TV Brasil. El presidente ha dicho hoy que quieres marcar la historia en esta competición con tu trabajo.
Question in Spanish. The president has said that you are trying to make history. You've made history already in Champions League. History is very important, and the match tomorrow is very important. What are the keys to make history? Well, the keys will be the same as the key elements for the opponent, to control the game, to control the small details that are always very important when you're facing a big team. And from there, it's about adapting, managing the game as best we can. I think, of course, we all want to get as far as we can in this competition and perhaps even win it. We are at the quarterfinals, however, so we're facing a high-level opponent. We're up to it. I'm sure we are well prepared, and it'll be challenging for both teams.
Hello, the Parisian. People believe that you have a system that works. You go from win to win. Do you believe that in a year or two this system might get a bit tired? Do you believe that this system could help you win over the years, or that you may have to adapt throughout the years and the opponents? Well, this is not about the system. There is no one animation and then it works throughout the years. This is not how football works. You must be unpredictable, both for the opponents, but predictable for you, your players and your team. Regardless of the countries, we have to look at how they are using the gaps. There are no system. There is a collective idea on how you attack and defend. There are no one system that you can apply over and over. It's more complicated than that. We must be unpredictable. We must be unpredictable to the opponent. This is the key. Thank you.
Hola, Mr. Queriao de Sky Sport Alemania. Quería preguntarle por la Bundesliga.
Question in Spanish. I wanted to ask you about the German league, Bundesliga. Do you watch this league? Do you like it? Now, For Barcola, there's links to Munich. Can you confirm that he's staying in PSG or going to be in Munich? Well, it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen in the market. We very much like that our players are wanted by other teams. We've got a very good squad, young players. Barcola has been a very, very important contributor to our team. He's been very highly criticized in Paris. Many of the other young players have as well. There's a personal growth here that's a factor. And of course, I would very much like to have him in Paris for many years, which is, I think, what he likes as well. Now, the German league is a league that Bayern tends to win by a great deal of points. This is a league that they dominate even more than we dominate in France. There's a powerful league. I haven't really the time to watch a lot of games in the Bundesliga, except for the teams that are part of the Champions League. I think in general, Europe has a very high level of football. French teams as well. That's what we've seen, very high level. Question in Spanish. Preparation against a European team, is it different? You beat the Atletico Madrid 4-0, but you haven't faced another European team since. And if you prepare differently, what's your appraisal on South American teams? Palmeiras, Fluminense, are they amongst the best four? Palmeiras is going to face Chelsea. Well, to really assess this fairly, we'll have to wait for the competition to finish. There's teams that have been eliminated already, and they've still played a very good World Cup. And in that sense, the level, the champion will clearly receive the highest commendation, but we'll have to see about all the other ones. And the other question, well, we don't prepare, and I don't think other coaches do, whether as a function of whether they're South American, from Asia, from Europe, or anything like that. No, we prepare on the basis of the quality and the style that the other teams tend to propose. So we do know Bayern, this is clear, but throughout the season and through the many competitions, things evolve. Some players aren't there, some have been injured, some have gone elsewhere. And these are the kinds of situations that we analyze, but we don't generally change the way that we propose what we're doing in our game. Question in Spanish. After the champions, you noted the defensive abilities of Dembélé. Now, what can your team stand to benefit or gain from his participation? You've scored 10 goals in 4 games. This is quite a lot already. Well, statistically speaking, it's hard to improve. That's what you're implying. And I don't want to only talk about goals, but expected goals that we concede. That means that we're performing very, very well. Our objective, of course, is always to try to win the game, not to speculate on any result. Tomorrow, we'll see. It'll be a completely different game against an opponent that's used to doing the same things we do. We'll have more balls that are lost to the team, and I think it'll be a more open game as well, with different chances, different types of opportunities. So we'll have to adapt to this different type of game, and that'll be a significant factor. I think we can improve in the two most important aspects of the game. Once you start getting used to the kind of performance, that's what we're seeking, is for this to become the habituation, and from there we get better results, and then we try to get further and further into the tournament.
Coach John Nelson from the SDH Network here in Atlanta. Quick question for you. When it comes to assembling a team, a roster, knowing your philosophy, would you rather have a player who is a tremendous footballer that you can have learn your system, or would you rather have a player that knows your system and your demands that you can make a better footballer? Which way do you go?
it depends on the team that you have. For me, that's the best thing for as a manager. You have to adapt. If you have 1, 2, 3 stars, you have to adapt and try to play the best way to win those matches. And if you don't have any big star, you have to develop your own players individually and as a team to try to get the best result. It depends always with the situation that you have to manage.
Merci.
Merci.
Thank you very much. Next press conference
you very much.
at 7:30.